hand movements.
वो I would be asking you. So yeah.
Talk in English or can we be bilingual?
Can we be bilingual?
No.
We have
English
to
only?
English only.
चलेगा for 1 hour. Relax it.
Sponsorship ले लेना चाहिए.
सही कह रहे हैं.
दसानी भी होता है. हाँ दसानी ज़्यादा आ गया. हाँ लेकिन पता नहीं कौन से परचेज करते हैं. 2-3 खोखे हैं ना यहाँ पे. कोई एक आधा खोखा रहता है.
ऑफिशियली वो होता है.
क्या ना जहाँ मतलब दसानी आ गया. पेप्सी डाइनिंग सेंटर में शायद ये एक्वा में.
हाँ वो तो नहीं.
अब बाकी जगह
Specific someone या will you just
कोई भी आंसर करता है.
कोई भी आंसर कर सकता है. If there is something very specific जो I feel Dr. Moeen कर सकते हैं, then I'll ask them. यहाँ कोई alumni या entrepreneurship या industrial relevant है, so everyone can add. If Dr. Sharyar is asking something and you feel you need to add one into it, then you can definitely add into it. Assalamu alaikum. I would like to welcome you all to the LUMS MBA Webcast. My name is Larif Tariq, and I hope that this webcast is an informative session for you. Today we are all gathered here to help you answer your queries about the MBA program. The MBA program at Suleiman Taj School of Business is one of the leading programs in Pakistan and is one of the flagship program of STSB and of LUMS. LUMS foundation was actually started through the MBA program itself. This webcast is an opportunity for you to learn more about the program, the ins and outs of it, and it's a key insight into how we are creating the global business leaders who are making an impact worldwide. I would like to introduce the panel today with us for the webcast. Sitting next to me is Dr. Moeen Nasir Butt. He is a Deputy Director MBA program. In addition to that, he's Assistant Professor at SDSB of Marketing. Next to him is Dr. Sharyar Shahid. He is Assistant Professor Entrepreneurship at SDSB and also an MBA alumni from 2006. And lastly, Jawad Nasir. He is a current MBA student who is actually going through the program and can help you know more about the program and how the curriculum is structured and vice versa. So moving on, I would like to first invite Dr. Moeen to tell us more about the MBA program and what it is all about.
So thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to share our MBA program details with prospective MBA students. I'll also be taking your questions. I'll start with our overall MBA program structure, and I will also try to answer a question why you should come to LUMS. So there are multiple reasons you should consider LUMS as your first choice. first of all, it's a very highly ranked program worldwide as per QS ranking, which is an international ranking of educational institutes. It's number 1 as per employability ranking in Pakistan, and it also among top 100 MBA programs in Asia. Secondly, at LUMS, we hire very best students. And we say this because we require GRE Gmat. We are the only school in Pakistan, business school in Pakistan, which requires GRE Gmat test, which requires some preparation. And for that, we also offer you free GRE and Gmat workshops in Lahore, Pakistan, in Lahore, Islamabad, and Karachi. And Dari will provide you more information in this session. Secondly, we also prefer work experience, although it's not mandatory. But we strongly prefer it, and we say this because of our program methodology, which is case-based. We follow Harvard and Ivy case-based methodology. A case is basically a problem of a company, and you as students, you basically read the problem, you analyze the situation, and then at the end you have to make a decision as a decision maker. This process not only improves your communication skills, but also your analytical skills, quantitative skills. During our MBA program, a student usually reads more than 500 cases, so which is enough to transform you completely during the program. Another thing is LUMS has a very strong exchange program with 16 other global business schools in Europe, Asia, and Australia, where students can go for 1 semester, they complete the semester, and they come back. This gives them an international exposure as well. And finally, now we have an experiential learning component in our program, which I'll discuss more in detail in a minute or so. Our MBA is a 2-year program. In first year, students just study core courses related to 4 functional areas, which are marketing, finance, operations, and management. The second year is all about elective courses. As I said, now a significant proportion of our MBA program is experiential learning, which is about 20% of the entire program, where students complete 3 different modules. The first one is about industry analysis, where students pick an industry of their choice, of their interest, and they completely study it from inputs to outputs. This is a complete value chain analysis for them. In the second module, they study about entrepreneurship, and also they can do a practical project which is called startup, and which they can do in summers. And finally, in third experiential learning component, they do a consultancy project. They act as business consultants for companies. Hundreds of companies submit their proposals, problems to us every year. Students can pick any of the company, and they can work for 8 weeks for them to solve their problem. Finally, I can say that at LUMS, we prepare students for jobs, and our placement office is very strong. They conduct networking nights for you. They also conduct mock interviews. Just some numbers, like our last batch, 71% of our MBA students got job on graduation, and most of the students had more than 1 offers in hand. So this is just a brief overview of our MBA program. I'm pretty sure you have lots of questions, which we'll take during the session. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Moeen. Dr. Shahryar, being an assistant professor in entrepreneurship, what would you like to share about the MBA program?
Well, yes, thank you, Larry, for having me here. And I'm looking forward to a very pleasant interaction with the audience. Well, I think a lot has been said by Dr. Moeen already, but one thing that I would like to add to this portfolio of reasons why you should come to LUMS is the very rich culture that LUMS has to offer. Being an alumni myself, I think I can very strongly vouch for the kind of culture that you get to experience at LUMS. There are a lot of opportunities for you to actually interact across different types of students. There is a lot of interaction between the MBA students and the undergrads, and there are like multitude of societies that very actively operate inside LUMS, and this is where one get a chance to have a lot of exposure in different areas. So that would be one of the reasons why I would come back to LUMS for another MBA program, I would say. Other than that, I think I would like to reinforce, and I hope we will talk more about this experiential component that we have recently introduced in the MBA program. So we are currently in the process of revamping our teaching methodology a bit. LUMS historically has been a case method school as far as the MBA program is concerned. But over the last couple of years, we have revamped it and added a substantial component of experiential learning, as we call it. I personally lead the second experiential module, which we call My Startup, where students get to work on a business idea. They conceive an idea, then they launch it and run it for good 2.5 months. Now they will even have this new model in place from next year onwards. They will even have a chance to carry on with their startups during the summer break. So the idea behind all the three components of experiential learning is to enhance students' ability to think out of the box and to get out there and engage and immerse themselves in some hands-on activities, right? So this is something that I think we can really boast about, and something that makes us different from an ordinary business school out there.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shahryar. And this is one of the reason, experiential learning is one of the reason why our MBA program is actually very industry relevant, and we make our students to be job ready. In addition, I would like to also request Mr. Jawad to tell us about the MBA program and what's your experience so far about it.
So far, I think first of all, thank you for having me here, Dr. Shahryar, Dr. Moin. I've covered a lot of information so far. My experience so far in the MBA program has been very good. It's been very exhilarating. There has been a lot of learning. Personally, I have developed and grown as a human being over the last 1.5 years a lot. And I think that has really helped me as well as my batch cultivate some good values into what already we had. Most of us had work experience. I think at least 85% of the class was having work experience. So this has added a lot of many layers on what we have already learned before in our lives. And I think the way this program is structured, as the experiential component was just mentioned, all of these aspects are building on to what we have already learned. And we will be job ready by the time we graduate. And not only job ready, we will also be ready for starting our own business as well. So this program is basically readying us, preparing us for the world ahead. And so far, I feel very comfortable, and I feel I have made the right choice by coming here. And that's where the ROI aspect comes in as well. Yeah. So in terms of ROI, I think this is the best option we can have over here. And job placements as well, they speak volumes.
Thank you very much, Jawad. And I'm sure many of you watching today would also be able to relate to what Jawad has said. So I'm going to now ask some of the questions that we have received so far from the online audience. So the first question is from Hassan Khurshid. He's asking that may I submit my application if I have not yet taken the GMAT or GRE? Dr. Moin, if you could answer that.
I think they can submit, but they have to submit the GRE GMAT scores before 12th of February.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the deadline for the first round.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would like to even add to this, you can still apply to the MBA program even if you have not taken your GMAT or GRE. However, we have 2 rounds of applications for the MBA program. So the first round is in February and the second round is in April. And the deadline to take GMAT and GRE is February 12 and April 12 for both of the rounds. So if you are still planning to take your GMAT or GRE, you should be taking it before April 12 or February 12. Now I would go on with the next question, which is what is the score needed in the GMAT or GRE if I'm applying for the LUMS MBA program?
There is no requirement from our side. The more is better. I can just give you the last year's numbers. The last year GMAT, average GMAT score was 650.
Okay,
Yeah.
the average was 650.
650, yeah. So if you are taking GRE, then you have to convert it into GMAT.
Okay, okay. So Jawad, would you like to share some of your experience on GMAT or GRE?
Yeah, I personally took the GRE and I gained admission over here on that. So many of you might be wondering that, okay, what should we go for? Should we take the GMAT or the GRE? So again, it does not really affect the admission decision. And I took the GRE as well, and many students in my class, at least I think 30 to 40% of them, they took the GRE. So again, it matters on what you are comfortable with. Both scores are accepted, but please make sure that you send in your application before the deadline, and everything else will go as planned then.
Okay. So the next question is, who should write letters of recommendation for any student who is applying to the MBA program?
If a candidate has work experience as well, so preferably one should come from employer,
Okay.
and the other one could be from professor. So
Okay.
that could be an ideal mix. But if both are from professors or both are from employers, these are okay as well. So ideally, one should be from employer and one from a professor.
One from
Yeah,
a
yeah.
professor. Okay. The next question that I have received is from Malik Kamran Javed. He's asking the type of financial aid options that are available and who are eligible to apply.
We have different options. Like for example, we have merit scholarships, and of course, anyone who comes on merit will get it. Then we have merit scholarships from Asian Development Bank as well. LUMS also offer interest-free student loans, and student loans are also available through MCB Bank. So these are different options we have, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of options available for students to apply to the MBA program, and we assure that students who are applying to the MBA program are completely evaluated based on merit and not on any other financial background. Thank you very much, Dr. Moeen. The next question is regarding career. So what type of career does one prepare for while enrolling in the MBA program at LUMS? I believe all three of you can add more to this question. Dr. Shahryar, if you would like to answer to this. What kind of career does one prepare for?
Well, I think primarily we prepare our MBA students for the corporate sector. But yes, with these recent changes in the MBA program itself, as well as the teaching methodology, now there is like an increasing emphasis on preparing our students for starting their own businesses, for instance, as well as for the public sector institutions, because now we have courses related to public administration and public policy. So that is another avenue of employment that we would like to encourage amongst our students. And then, of course, when we talk of public sector, we also find some extensions of it that might be applicable in the case of the development sector too. For instance, I myself, when I graduated back in 2006 from LUMS, I did not go to the corporate sector. I rather find employment in the development sector, and I worked there for like good 1.5 to 2 years, and it turned out to be a pretty pleasant experience. And I found myself fully equipped to work in the development sector to meet the needs. Then we also have a component of the social sector, as we call it. So the NGO sector, the social enterprises. So now we even have courses related to social enterprises in the MBA curriculum. So now we actually prepare our students for like a wide range of careers that they can opt for later on.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Shahryar. Jawad, would you like to add to it? Considering that you are still in the MBA program, what type of career are you looking into?
Yeah, of course, because in the second year we have the option of choosing our own electives. So you can actually chart your own path as to what exactly you want to pursue. In the first year, as it was told before, that you have some core courses you have to take. That's the foundation of the MBA. But in the second year, you have freedom to choose courses from marketing, from finance, and operations as well. So there's a wide variety of courses you can choose from. I'm mixing things up with marketing as well as data science and analytics. So this is again another flexibility the program offers. I took a course with the undergraduate, and you can do that while you're in your second year. And again, it pays dividends. You learn a lot from the culture LUMS has, and at the same time, you can experiment and actually decide that exactly what industry you want to go into. So it has been very beneficial, and as said, this program has been very flexible for me at least.
So this means you're able to design your own transcript while being in the MBA program.
Precisely in the second year.
Okay, great. That's good to know, which is, I believe it's barely available in the other MBA programs at universities. Mr. Murtaza asked us another question. He's asking that what's the difference between an MBA program and an executive MBA program? I believe most of the audience, they do confuse a normal MBA stream with an executive MBA program. If you could please shed some light on it.
Our MBA program is a full-time program, and it requires, like, we generally require 2 to 3 years of work experience for this. Our executive MBA programs is for executive, as the name says.
Okay.
So for that, we require, I think, 7 to 8 years of work experience.
Yes, that's
and the classes generally take place on the weekends.
Yes.
So they are entirely two different programs.
So what is advisable, Dr. Moeen, who should opt for an MBA program and who should opt for an executive MBA program?
So if someone has has been doing work in corporate sector for the last 7-8 years, for that person, I think executive MBA is more preferable. But if someone has 2 to 3 years of work experience, and that candidate wants full-time program, like rigorous program, then our full-time MBA program is preferable for that. Yeah.
Thank you. So the next question that I have is from Mr. Hamza Mazhar. He's asking, what he's asking is that, is it necessary to have work experience while applying to the MBA program, or do you accept graduates who have freshly come out of the university, they have just completed their bachelor's and planning to do their master's, or maybe they're in between, they're trying to look for a job and they're at the same time planning for the MBA program. So what's the preference?
So this is the generally most asked question after the GRE, Gmat score. So we say that we strongly prefer it, which means it's not necessary to have work experience, but we strongly prefer because of our case-based methodology, pedagogy, because that is a participant-centered approach, so which puts burden on students while in class. So if someone has not done any job after the studies, so it's difficult for that person to contribute to participate in class, especially in the case study method approach. For that reason we say this, but we have some precedent examples where fresh students have been admitted to our MBA program. So what happens is, if you have a stellar academic record, or you have scored very high in GRE, Gmat, you will definitely get a call from us. Then everything is dependent upon your interview performance. So if you do well in interview, there is always a chance you get admitted. Yeah. So this is what it goes. Yeah.
Jawad, can you please shed some light on where were you when you applied to the MBA program?
In terms of my career?
In terms of your career,
yeah, I had 2 years of experience when I applied for the MBA program. And again, it depends on how you take it. Many students in my class, the average work experience has been 2.5 years. But there have been some exceptions. I decided that I need a little more edge into my academic background as well, and make some more connections as well, because again, the alumni network of LUMS MBA is something that I wanted to tap into, and that's what this program was offering me. So 2 years I worked, I saw where I was good at. Then I decided that, okay, I need to do the MBA, specialize in a few things, study a little more over there, make some extra connections, and then 2 years later I'll go back into the market. So this was the best possible time for me.
Dr. Shahryar, would you like to add something into it?
Well, yes. I think when I started my MBA at LUMS, I hardly had an experience of a year or so. But this is something that I would not suggest for those who are actually aspiring to be part of this program in the future. Reason being that I actually had to struggle a little bit in the beginning to cope up with all my other colleagues in the class, because then I am sitting with people coming with 5 or even 7 years of experiences, and this is where actually things may become a bit challenging for you. Again, as said by my colleagues, it is not really a requirement. We have had examples where fresh graduates, people just graduated from their undergrads, joining LUMS MBA program and still managed to produce outstanding results. But then, I think having an experience of 3 years plus would actually make this whole experience more valuable and more enjoyable for you. So if you can wait, you should preferably wait and apply after 3 years.
One more common question that is asked by many audiences is that can they study part-time while being enrolled? in the program?
I don't think it's possible because it's a very rigorous program which
Okay.
you have to be studying like 24 hours.
Yeah, that's
So,
not.
So
it's
there is no chance
no
of
chance.
them working part-time while being enrolled in the program. And how is the MBA program different from other institutions in Pakistan? Could you please shed some light? How does what's the LUMS approach or STSP approach towards the MBA program?
I think the number one differentiating factor is a case-based method, which we follow. We completely follow Harvard and Ivy case study method, right? So, and it's strictly case-based. Like we cannot mix up lectures with case study methods. So this is the number one differentiating factor. The second, which Dr. Shahryar also mentioned about experiential learning, which we have just introduced. So no other program in Pakistan has that right now.
Okay, so these two things sets it apart. Dr. Shahryar, would you like to add anything?
Well, yes. I think one basic ingredient that you would need before you consider applying for the LUMS MBA program is resilience, and I think Jawad would second me on that. Resilience and your ability to actually face a lot of rigor. Because if you don't have the capacity to put nighters, if you don't have capacity to sacrifice your weekends at times, then you might find this program a bit, I would say, quite struggling. And you may find yourself regretting your decision and opting out of the program, because this is something that we don't compromise on, and this is something that we are really proud of, that whatever product we send out in the market, they have the capacity to actually to face any form of pressures, and they don't give up to these work pressures and ability to meet tight deadlines, because this is something that we want them to nurture while they are with us throughout the MBA program.
We have a very interesting question from Mr. Taimur Tariq. He's asking that is MBA still worth it? Isn't MBA make us jack of all trades, but today most jobs require skills, specific skills. Do MBA teach us technical skill as well? As he's very skeptical that MBA is not worth it, which is a general conversation going on whether to choose for an MBA program or an MSc program. So what do you have to say about it? Being faculty members, you might have experienced a lot of students at an undergraduate level coming and talking to you about it as well. What do you have to say about it? To MBA or not to MBA?
So we do offer specializations, sort like as Jawad also mentioned that in the second year, there are electives. So if you want to specialize, for example, in marketing, you can take maximum marketing courses, right? So although we offer general MBA degree, so we won't say it's concentration in marketing, but you can make your specialty in marketing, for example, or finance or operations if you want. Secondly, MBA basically is for managers, right? So managers need to know all areas, finance, operations, accounting, everything. So you need to know everything if you want to be a manager in future, or if you want to be an entrepreneurship again, all areas have to be known, not just one particular technical skill. So from that viewpoint, MBA is for managers, right? So if you want to be very technical, then there is some other degree you have to go for, not for MBA. But I think we have to take comments from
Dr. Shahryar, if you could please.
Yes, I think I totally agree with Dr. Moin on this, and I think this has been the thing that has been our differentiating factor at LUMS. We don't really offer concentration and specialization, and there is a strong reason for that, because as rightly said by Dr. Moin, that our objective is to actually nurture our students in different along different tangents, because when you go out and work as a manager, it's not the specialization that comes handy. It is rather how quickly you can actually connect things and make decisions. So decision making is what we basically teach. And when you have to make decisions, I think it's very important for you to have like a minimum level of exposure in all functional areas. And so that was the rationale when we decided initially that we would not offer specializations. Anybody who is looking for specialization can always opt for a specialized degree later on. We have had examples where people went abroad and specialized in finance or marketing, and at times even doing double MBAs later on from a different university. So then the world is open to you. But we at LUMS, we rather value giving you a holistic and wholesome experience and learning.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Shahryar. One of the critical question next is from Hassan Ayub. He's asking that how should one succeed in an interview, considering that you mentioned that if you reach to the interview stage, it's a very, I believe, gruesome process to pass that even. This is what I have heard. So let's see what you have to say about it.
Jawad will also comment on this, but from my side, because I also participate in panel interviews, so you have to come prepared.
Okay.
This is the first thing. Like, if you are not prepared, it's very visible when you come, because our interviews are very probing type of interviews.
Okay.
We ask a lot of questions. We probe you if you say something, and if someone is not prepared, then obviously that person will be confused, and it will be shown right away. What we feel is students, they don't come prepared. For example, when we ask some general knowledge question, like who is the Prime Minister of UK?
Okay.
So they won't know. Or what is the GDP of Pakistan? So do prepare for such general knowledge questions also, along with your specialty area. For example, if you have degree in finance or accounting or marketing, do have some basic knowledge also about that. If you have worked somewhere, you should be able to answer questions regarding your job responsibilities, job duties.
Okay.
Okay. So these type of things.
They are
Generally, we ask question to them. For example, if we ask someone what is the GDP of Pakistan or what is the population of Pakistan, if we get a very different answer, then it's obviously we are also shocked. And then your chances of getting through the process are scarcely reduced, so severely reduced. So I think that.
Dr. Shahryar, if you could add into it.
Well,
Have you experienced taking interviews of any incoming student?
yes, many a times, and then I have been through that process myself as well. And I think this is one of the questions that that student ask me the most often. And my advice to them is always like, don't lie. Don't try to fudge things. Don't try to make up stories, because this is the worst thing that you can do to damage your chances of selection during the interview process. I think it's a very pertinent question, because interview holds a very significant, I would say, very significant percentage in the overall admission process. So don't lie. If you don't know about anything, you should be very candid about it. And the other tip or suggestion, so to speak, would be prepare for your look out for your strong areas, look out for your strengths, look out for all the good things that you have done professionally, and then make sure at the interview that you bring them up for the panelists. Don't just leave it to them to explore it on their own. It's very important for you, because this is one of the major, I think, mistakes that people do during the interview process. They don't bring their strengths up front. So just go through whatever you have been doing at the workplace. Try to figure out the projects or the things that you might have done. Pick up the best projects and the best things that you might have done, and then make sure that you mention it to the panelist on the day. This is one tip that I would like to share.
Okay. And the next question is from Muzammil Chaudhry. He's asking that how do you ensure faculty and student interaction at LUMS and in MBA program? What do you have to say about it?
So we have regular meetings. For example, students have session with program directors. Regularly, they have also been assigned a mentor once they admitted to our MBA program.
Okay.
And they have, I think, 1 or 2 meetings every semester with the mentor. And they can also contact their mentor like anytime, whenever they want. Right. The mentor is responsible to basically inquire about their progress in studies, about any of their concerns regarding career, anything. So because when students come to LUMS, initially, starting from the summer orientation program, which prepares you for our MBA program. It's really hectic. So they study all the time, and which is a shock to most of the students, and they need a lot of advice, right?
Okay.
So mentors help them a lot initially. With the passage of time, they get used to it, but initially they need help from someone.
Okay.
So for that, we assign mentor to them, and also most of our faculty has open door policy, so they can come to us anytime. Like they can contact mentor, they can contact program director. I'm a deputy program director also, they can come to me also. So they have lots of avenues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jawad, do you have to say anything about it? How has your experience about faculty interaction been so far?
It has been brilliant because, like Dr. Moin just said, that there is an open door policy. We can go and talk to the instructors or our mentors whenever we want. Again, they're there to support us, and they're there to help us out and to teach us. And again, it's up to us that we make the best use out of it. So they're there to help us. We can go and talk to them about whatever we want, about the studies, even about the professional sphere, because they're so well versed about the industry that if you have any questions about even your career choices as well, they're the best source to go to and actually ask questions that, okay, is this the right decision that I'm going to make? So they're always there to help us out. Just drop an email or even just walk in. So it's pretty comfortable over there in STS.
Yes, and I have seen students working on experiential learning projects during their tenure, and the faculty advise them constantly. There are a lot of industry interaction. Dr. Shahryar, would you like to add into it how, when during experiential learning, when students have their own discussion room, what's the scenario in it? How does it go?
Well, yes, I mean, they normally work in groups for all the 3 experiential learning components, and then we make it like a part of the structure. So it's this kind of built into the structure for them to actually meet for a minimum number of times, and so they are supposed to meet up within the group, and then they have to even report back all the minutes of the meeting. So we have kind of made it a very structured process. So it's not discretionary. It's just pretty built into the system, just to ensure that all the students are talking to each other, and the faculty member and the relevant advisors and the module leaders are talking to the students as well and listening to their concerns. So it is also mandatory for the advisors as well as the module leader to actually meet all the groups working within that module for like a minimum number of times. So this is kind of all the controlling mechanism that we have in place to ensure this interaction. And then students get to interact a lot with, again, there are scheduled sessions to meet with the dean and the program directors. So they are scheduled sessions. They have to happen. But one thing I would like to reinforce, that it's not only the interaction that we ensure, but I would like to say it very confidently that we take student feedback very seriously, in the faculty meeting. So it's not just there for the sake of it. We actually contemplate on the student feedback a lot. I think it has been one of the key agendas in almost every faculty meeting that we conduct. So student feedback is something which is the driving force. It may not appear to be the case for the students from the face of it, but behind the scenes, the student feedback, it has a lot of weightage. Right? Yeah.
And I believe that such kind of routine also prepares you with the job market expectations and the industry expectation that one have from an MBA graduate, staying up at night, working on projects. This leads to another question, Dr. Moin. This is to you. You mentioned that the MBA program starts with the summer orientation program. So how is the program structured, and how are the courses structured within it?
So it's a 2-week program, and its purpose is to prepare students for the actual MBA program, which starts after 2 weeks. It's a very hectic one. So all courses are represented in this 2-week program. For example, there would be a session on case study methodology, how the case is taught. Then the one session would be about marketing case study. Other would be about statistics, accounting, finance. So all functional areas are represented in that. Students are given assignments. Generally, the classes take place from early in the morning, 9 till 6, but then assignments later on. Students hardly sleep in those 2 weeks. And basically, we do it purposefully because this is actually our MBA program. And we have to prepare them for this, right? So once students do the SOP, generally at that time, they are very negative about it, but later on, they admit that it was really useful. Yeah.
I would like to add to this is that I'm sure the program is coming across as very competitive and tough one to be in, but there are around about 12 societies, I believe, in the MBA program. What's your experience about that, Jawad?
The societies, I think the experience has been very good. I myself am a president for the Global Management Club at LUMS.
Okay.
And numerous students in my class, people have actively been involved with these societies. But the main thing about these societies is that these act as a channel where you can connect with the industry as well as the institute. So, such as the HR club we have in LUMS, we invite key people from the industry to speak at the sessions and the seminars. We have students from all over Pakistan that are coming in. So again, these societies act as a way for you to actually try out your leadership skills that you're learning, and then at the same time bring about some good change and interact with the professionals in the industry as well. So I think it's a very key and integral part of LUMS MBA where you can actually test out what you have learned. Sports societies as well. We have music society as well. MBA, these clubs, by the way, are exclusive to the MBA. So they have a lot of history attached with them as well. So it's a very important and key experience to be a part of the societies.
Thank you, Jawad. So I'm going to move to my next question. Faizan Ahmer asks, are there any financial aid for students that are not loans?
Yeah, so we have merit-based scholarships. Like for women, we have women's scholarships. And then we have scholarships from Asian Development Bank also, which is solely on merit.
Okay.
So,
and I believe in addition to that, we have merit scholarships as well that are based completely on Gmat and GRE
exactly.
scores.
So if someone scores, I think 700 or more,
yes, so
then that student also gets a scholarship, yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything to say about on this, Jawad, considering that you are already studying in the MBA program? What type of class profile do you have? Are there any students on loans and then on scholarships as well?
Yes, I'm aware there are a few students that are on a performance scholarship as well, the merit scholarship, because they had exceptional Gmat GRE scores, 700 plus in the Gmat, and they have very good scholarship package. The Asian Development Bank scholarship, we also have a holder for that. And even in the batch that just came in, we have a few women scholarship holders as well. So again, it matters. You have to apply for a scholarship when you're applying in your application as well. So then again, the scholarship opportunities are there. If your profile is good enough for it, then definitely you'll be considered for it.
The next question from the online community is that what kind of jobs are considered and preferred as work experience for MBA?
So there is no particular job requirement, like type of job. So it could be in any company, like for example, it could be an assistant level job as well, assistant manager, for example, management trainee. Like we want someone to work in a company, in a work environment, like in the real life work environment, so that they can gain something and then come to the classroom to participate. So this is the whole purpose. So we are not expecting someone to be like at the manager position, or if they are, it's great. But the purpose of joining an MBA program is to be a manager or a leader.
Okay.
So it's completely okay if someone is just assistant professor or at the lower level. That's completely okay.
That's completely fine.
Even if someone has done internship, we also accept it.
That. Do you have anything to add, Jawad?
Yeah, of course. There are some students even in my batch that have some different job experiences as well. We even have a student who is a pharmacist, and he's in our class. We have a student, she was a teacher, and she's in our class as well. So, and we have a couple students as well who own businesses. So again, if you have your own business, you have been running your family business as well, and you want to learn some more about the business world and leadership, etc., then even then you can apply. So again, we have people from all walks of life and all professional backgrounds, and you're all welcome to apply for the LUMS MBA.
Okay, and the next question that I've received is from Amna Saqib. She's asking that what type of exchange programs do LUMS MBA program have, and what is the international exposure that students gain from it?
So we have exchange program agreement with 16 global business schools. They're mostly in Europe, Asia, and Australia.
Okay.
And we have a certain GPA requirement for this. For example, if student scores, like I think I'm not sure the exact one, 3.5 or something or above, then that person can apply for the exchange program. The process is once they get the exchange approval, they go to that university and spend 1 semester there, then they come back.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the process, how it goes. Yeah.
Okay. And Maria Khan asked, how is work experience evaluated for an MBA graduate or for a person coming into the MBA program? The work experience prior to joining the MBA program.
Right.
How is it evaluated? Is there greater weightage to it as compared to other components?
Well, yes, there is a weightage for it when during the interview process. There is a certain weightage attached with it, and it's pretty. I wouldn't say it is like the highest of the weightages, but it is pretty significant, right? Then I think other than the weightage, what is more important about experience is the intrinsic value of it. So during the interview, you might have a very high score or very impressive score on Gmat or GRE, but if you don't come from a reasonable experience, we might still not. We might decide not to kind of induct you in the MBA program. So it's not just the quantitative weightage that it has, but also the qualitative or the intrinsic value that comes with the experience. So that's why, as I said earlier, it's better if you have an experience of like at least 2 years plus, to make your chances brighter to be part of this program. Yeah.
I would like to add in this, we compute an index based on prior academic record, GRE, GMAT score, and work experience. And then we look at that index, like how a candidate is ranked in that. So if they want exactly what percentage or weightage is, I think they can contact admission office for this.
Yes.
But we look at multiple factors, not just one factor.
Okay.
Maybe a person has 5 years of work experience, but the academic record is not very good, and also GMAT score is very low. In that case, the overall index will be very lower for that person. Yeah.
And Dr. Main, I'd like to ask one question from you. Is like, what is the admission criteria for the MBA program at LUMS? Can you summarize it in terms of?
It's a 16-year education. This is the first thing.
16 years of education.
Yeah, university education.
Okay.
And then the second is, as I said, GMAT GRE score is the second one. We prefer work experience, although it's not mandatory. There are some exceptions. So you are encouraged to apply if you have very good, excellent GMAT GRE score, or you have very good academic record, and if you have done some internships, and if you think you are mature enough, then you can definitely apply. And if you perform well in interview, you will be through. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the complete admission criteria. Ali Raza asked from from the online community. He's saying that he has an electronics engineering degree, and would it be wise for him to opt for an MBA program? Could Dr. Shariar, could you mention the type of diversity we have in our class?
Yeah, I think certainly, because I myself was a mechanical engineer. I knew absolutely nothing about management. But I still applied, and I got through, and I really had a great time here. I think being an engineer, you would actually find more value in this whole program, as opposed to somebody who already comes with a business or a management background. So this program turned out to be more valuable for me as an engineer, and typically, or historically speaking, engineers tend to like form the largest segment of the class.
Okay.
So typically, it's like 50 to 60% are engineers coming from different disciplines of engineering. So absolutely, I mean, being an electrical engineer, it makes all the sense for you to be part of this program.
Jawad, would you like to add into it?
Yes, of course. If I speak for my class, we have at least, I think, 50% of the students are engineers. And they're not only electrical and mechanical engineers, they're also computer scientists in our class.
Okay.
So again, the MBA program can be used again as a channel for you to switch into other fields for your career as well, such as marketing. Some engineers even went on into economics and finance in the past. So again, as Dr. Sharia rightly put, it has significant value for engineers. And even if you're an engineer, regardless of whatever kind of engineer you are, you should definitely consider this program.
So, Dr. Moin and Dr. Shahriyar, I believe the online community is very much apprehensive about the rigorous MBA program, and we have a question again from Anira. She's asking that how rigorous is the MBA program, and can you manage it with an active student life, considering LUMS does have a very active student life with 12 societies, and there are different societies at an undergraduate level as well. So,
Scared them.
yes.
So I think we
believe
can
so.
ask this question from current student,
Yeah.
like how they manage it.
Jawad, how do you manage it?
You have to take time out. I think this program not only teaches you things about management from a business perspective, but I think from a personal perspective as well, you learn how to manage your time and your resources and where you have to give enough time. Obviously, a key component is the studies part, and I will not hide anything about that. But at the same time, you can always take time out for sports, etc. I play a lot of sports. I play a lot of football over here, so I get some time for that on the weekends. There are undergraduate societies. We have 2 members in our MBA class who are representing the student council as well over here in LUMS. So again, it matters on you entirely if you can take the time out. We have some high-performing students as well who are actually leading societies. And these are good examples that if you have the capacity inside you to actually take the pressure, you can easily do it. And it's very manageable. It's not that it's impossible.
Okay. And Dr. Shahriyar, would you like to add into it?
Well, yes, I think it's not about that should you participate in other extracurricular activities or not. I think you must. This is one thing that we want to strongly encourage about our MBA program, MBA students, and I am a living example of it. When I was here, I think I was part of at least 3 different societies at the undergraduate level because unfortunately we did not have a lot of MBA societies back then, and I was very active member of it. And I think it is your participation in these activities that kind of that makes up this entire experience for you at LUMS, and something that you would always cherish. So absolutely, there is all the possibility for you to maintain a very balanced mix between extracurricular activities and the academic requirements of the MBA program. So it's not the matter of time. I think it's the matter of your will. It's the matter of your interest. Absolutely, you can definitely have a good balance of both.
I have one more question from the online community. They are inquiring about the application deadlines. Dr. Moin, if you would like to add to it.
Round 1 deadline is February 19th, and the
Okay.
round 1 deadline to take GRE GMAT test is February 12th.
12th.
And for round 2, the deadline is April 19th, and to take GRE GMAT test is April 12th.
Yes.
So these are the deadlines.
Dr. Moin, is there any preference for students who are applying to the round 1 or round 2?
There is no preference.
Okay.
You can apply if you are ready right now. If you have prepared your GRE GMAT test, then go for round 1. If you are still in process of preparing it, then I think you can wait for round 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question from Zainab Aftab. She's asking that does my admission into the MBA program matter if I have also graduated at a bachelor's level from LUMS? So if you have graduated from LUMS, would you be preferred for the MBA program, or is it
So we have significant
transparent policy?
So we have several students who are LUMS undergraduates who are in LUMS MBA program right now. So if we talk about someone who wants to do MBA from Pakistan, I think LUMS is the first choice always. Because we are different, as we mentioned before,
Yes.
on several fronts. So someone who wants to have LUMS experience or a quite immersive experience, rigor, then that person should come to LUMS, must come to LUMS,
They must come to
irrespective if someone is LUMS undergrad or not. So,
Would you like to add into it, Jawad?
Yeah, in my class as well, there's many students who did their undergraduate from LUMS. But as Dr. Moeen rightly put, within Pakistan, this is the best master's degree in business that you can actually do, because again, it's a local context. You learn about the local industry. You talk to local instructors. So in Pakistan, you have incredible potential to grow if you go for the MBA from LUMS. And there's no doubt that even LUMS students are applying for this. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And the teaching pedagogy is different for MBA as well. It's completely case-based. While at undergrad, we mostly lecture-based and then some short cases, but MBA is strictly case-based. So the teaching methodology is also different. Yeah.
Okay. Bashir Khan asked another question from Dr. Moeen. He's asking that what is the weightage of these multiple requirements for admission that you have mentioned?
I think for that, I'm not sure whether admission office can provide them this detail or not. We have an index.
Okay.
3 factors which I mentioned: academic record, GRE, GMAT, and work experience.
Okay.
So based on that index, they'll get an interview call, and then everything is dependent upon their interview.
Interview.
Yeah.
So your application is evaluated based on your complete profile. It is not just one component, and there isn't any set percentage or weightage that we give to an applicant based on certain criteria. However, your overall application profile matters, I believe. Dr. Shahryar, would you like to add into it?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure about the exact percentages, but one thing I know for sure that the highest percentage goes to the GRE and GMAT score, and then comes the previous academic record, and then the experience. But then again, it does not really underemphasize or undermine the importance of experience. So just purely based on quantitative score. So, but otherwise, as far as the breakup is concerned, I think it's 50 or 60% that goes to GRE and GMAT, and then the previous experience and the academic record.
So, are there any important guidelines that you would like to share with the prospective students who are listening to us, that what should and they shouldn't do while applying to the MBA program at LUMS?
I think from my side, the first thing they should start doing is preparing for GRE GMAT test, because this is a number 1 requirement for application. And then if they have not done work anywhere, they may, if they feel they should work somewhere before applying. These are the 2 things which I recommend to them. Yeah.
Dr. Shahryar, your opinion on it?
Well, one thing, as Dr. Moeen rightly said, experience. And as I also said earlier, if you can wait for a couple of years and build up your professional profile, do it and come back to us. It will improve your chances significantly. Second is the interview. Please prepare for that. I have seen many bright students, being not able to pass through the interview stage, and primarily because they were not properly prepared.
Okay. Jawad, what about you?
Again, the interview is a very important part. Prepare for that. Keep your work experience. Have some good work experience. Be honest in your interview as well. And if you're wondering this program is worth it for you or not, trust me, it is worth it. It's a very worthwhile investment that you'll make, and it will pay off in the end. I feel even though I have half a year left, it will pay off dividends.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Moeen, Dr. Shahryar, and Jawad. Your contribution to this session was immense. As an ending note, I would like to tell every one of you that based on experience, we know that GMAT and GRE is a critical testing requirement for LUMS and for the MBA program. So for that, we are running different free 2-day workshops all in the 3 critical cities of Pakistan, that is Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad. So we have a workshop scheduled for GMAT tomorrow and day after tomorrow, that is 8th and 9th in Karachi at Gymkhana, Lahore. So if you want to learn quantitative modeling or integrated reasoning or verbal section of English and GMAT, you can visit us in Karachi. In Islamabad, we have our GMAT workshop scheduled next week, that is on 15th and 16th of December. This is a 2-day free workshop. You can register on it through our website. a website, a news has been established. You can visit there, register for it, and feel free to enlighten yourself about the different programs we have, the Gmat workshop that we have, and in the end we are also planning to have a Gmat and GRE session in Lahore. So stay tuned with us on our all of our social media channels. We are very active on all of them, and you can find more information about our program and critical deadlines through our social media channels as well.